Hello dear students, welcome back to All Force e-learning classes. This is first year intermediate civics class. Yesterday we discussed about sovereignty. What is meant by sovereignty, definitions of sovereignty and features of sovereignty. So what are the important points of the last class? First one is the meaning of sovereignty. The word sovereignty is derived from a Latin word superaneus, which means supreme power. Who is the supreme power? State is the supreme power. Hence, sovereignty is the supreme power of the state. Then coming to definitions, I have given two important definitions to you. One is Willoughby definition, another one is Jean Bodin definition. According to Willoughby, sovereignty is the supreme will of the state. Supreme will of the state. Whereas, according to Jean Bodin, sovereignty is the supreme power of the state over citizens and subjects, understood by law. This is the definition of Jean Bodin. And sovereignty is the most essential feature of the state. Every state has four elements, so sovereignty is one of them. It is the most important element of the state. Sovereignty has five important features or characteristics. One is absoluteness, two universality, three permanence, four inalienable, fifth one is indivisibility. Okay, these are the important features of sovereignty. Today I am going to explain Austin's theory of sovereignty. Austin theory of sovereignty, a part of second lesson, state and sovereignty. So here, who is Austin? Austin was a great English jurist. His total name is John Austin. John Austin. He was a great British jurist. He explained the idea of sovereignty in his famous book, The Lectures on Jurisprudence. Lectures on Jurisprudence. It is the famous writing of John Austin, which was published in 1832. He explained the idea of sovereignty in his famous writing Lectures on Jurisprudence, which was published in 1832. He proposed this theory, and so this theory was called as Austin's theory of sovereignty. This theory was called as what? Austin theory of sovereignty. Why it is called as the Austin theory of sovereignty? This theory was developed by John Austin. Hence, it is called as a Austin's theory of sovereignty. Austin's theory of sovereignty. It is also called as a monistic theory of sovereignty. Monistic theory of sovereignty. Mono means one. According to this theory, there is only one sovereignty in a state. There is only one sovereignty in a state. Hence, this theory is also called as a monistic theory of sovereignty. It is also called as a legal theory of sovereignty. Legal theory of sovereignty. Legal theory of sovereignty. Because what is the basis for this theory? Law is the basis. Law is the basis or source for this theory. Hence, this theory is also called as legal theory of sovereignty. Legal theory of sovereignty. So, this theory has three names. One is Austin theory of sovereignty, monistic theory of sovereignty, legal theory of sovereignty. Then, John Austin was influenced with the writings of two great philosophers, named Thomas Hobbes and Jeremy Bentham. He was influenced with the writings of whom? Thomas Hobbes and Jeremy Bentham. With the influence of Thomas Hobbes and Jeremy Bentham, he explained the theory of sovereignty. He explained the theory of sovereignty. So it is an introduction about John Austin. And what are the important features of his theory? What are the important features of his theory? Number 1. Sovereign is a determinate human superior. Dear students, here you must understand what is meant by sovereignty and sovereign. Sovereignty and sovereign. Sovereignty is a concept. Sovereign is a person. Sovereignty is a what? A concept. So which means supreme power of the state. Sovereign is a person who enjoys the sovereignty. It is very clear? So sovereignty is a concept. It means the supreme power of the state. Whereas sovereign is a person who enjoys the sovereignty, who enjoys the sovereign power or supreme power. He is called as a sovereign. Now, what is the first feature of this theory? Sovereign is the determinate human superior. So according to John Austin, sovereignty is vested in the hands of a person or body of persons. This person is called as a determinate human superior. According to John Austin, sovereignty is vested in a determinate human superior. A determinate human superior or the body of persons. Example, in India, the total sovereign power is vested with the President of India. President of India. And so the President of India is a sovereign. President of India is a sovereign. In the same way in America, President of America is the head of the state. He enjoys the total sovereign power. Hence, President of America is also sovereign. Come to body of persons. In some countries, the sovereign power is vested with 2 or more persons. Example, in Switzerland, the total sovereign power is vested in the hands of 7 executives. 7 executives. That executive is called as a Federal Council of Switzerland. Federal Council of Switzerland. In Switzerland, there is a Federal Council. In Federal Council, how many members are there? 7 executives are there. 7 executives are there. The sovereign power is divided among the 7 executives. So, the sovereign power is vested with a person or a body of persons. That person is called as a determinate human superior. Determinate human superior. Determinate human superior. Then, this determinate human superior is the source of all powers. Okay? The determinate human superior is the source of all authorities or all powers. Then, second feature of this theory is sovereign receives habitual obedience. Yes, the sovereign receives habitual obedience from whom? The bulk of the society. From whom? The bulk of the society. Bulk of the society. Bulk of the society means from all the people. From all the people. Clear? He receives habitual obedience from all the people from the society, all the people from society, but he does not pay obedience to anybody. He does not pay obedience to anybody. He does not pay obedience to anybody. In the same way, he issues the orders to all. He issues the orders to all, but he does not receive any order from none. He does not receive order from none, because he is the supreme power. Sorry, he is the sovereign. He has the supreme power. Example, President of India is there. President of India. He is a sovereign. He is our sovereign. In India, each and every individual and association will obedience to the President of India, but he does not pay obedience to any individual and any organization in the Indian Union. That is the second one. Then third feature of the Austin theory is sovereignty is absolute, unlimited and unquestionable. Yes, sovereignty is unlimited. Sovereignty is unlimited because no one state, no one organization can impose the limitations on the sovereignty of the state. Yes, no one can impose the limitations and restrictions on the sovereignty of a state. Hence, it is unlimited. And one more thing is, the sovereignty of the state is above and over all the people and associations and all the laws also, because he is the sovereign. He is the sovereign. And it is unquestionable. The sovereignty of a state cannot be questioned by anyone. No one can question the sovereign power of a state. Sovereign power of a state. Then, fourth, sovereignty is indivisible. Sovereignty is what? Indivisible. Means sovereignty cannot be divided into two or more parts, because the sovereignty is a unified one and wholesome. And so we cannot divide the sovereignty into two or more parts. Dividing the sovereignty means destroying the sovereignty. It means destroying the state also. If there is no sovereignty, there is no state, because state is like a soul of a state. It is like a soul of a state. And so without sovereignty, there is no state. If we will divide the sovereignty two or more states, two or more sovereignties, what will happen? There is a scope to there is a scope to born two or more sovereignties in a state. There are two or more sovereignties in a state. If we divide the sovereignty into two or more, then the same number of states are emerged. It is not possible. It is not possible. And fifth one is, according to John Austin, law is the command of sovereign. Law is the command of sovereign. So according to John Austin, whatever the command is issued by the sovereign, directly or indirectly, is called sovereign. Okay, what is law? According to John Austin, law is the command of sovereign. Law is the command of sovereign. So whatever the command is issued by the sovereign to the people, directly or indirectly, is called as law. Hence, who is the source of law? Sovereign is the source of law. Here, sovereign is the source of law. So here, without sovereign, there are no laws in the state. Without sovereign, there are no laws in the state. So here sovereign will act as a lawmaker. Who is the lawmaker here? A determinate woman superior is the lawmaker according to John Austin. Who is the lawmaker? Sovereign. Who is the sovereign? A determinate woman superior is the sovereign. Determinate woman superior is the sovereign. So the ultimate lawmaking power is vested with the sovereign. Hence is called as a lawmaker. And all the individuals and associations or organizations, all the individuals and associations and organizations obey the laws of the sovereign. Otherwise the punishment will be given to them. Means the disobedience of laws leads to punishment. So every organization must obey the laws of the sovereign. It is the fifth one. Then sovereignty is essential. Sovereignty is essential to whom? Political society. The sovereignty is essential to whom? Sovereignty is essential to whom? Political society. What is political society here? State. What is the political society? State. So every state or every political society must have the sovereignty. Already we know every state has 4 essential elements. So which is more essential? Sovereignty is the more essential than other elements because it is like a soul. So without soul there is no body. In the same way, without sovereignty there is no state. Hence sovereignty is essential to every political society. Sovereignty is essential for every society. Then the subjects have no right against the state. The subjects have no rights against the state. Here subjects means people or individuals. Here the matter is related to rights of the individuals. The rights are provided by the sovereign on the behalf of the constitution. In every country there will be a constitution. Now constitution will provide the rights to the people. But what is constitution? It is a collection of documents. So it will provide the rights to the people. But on the behalf of the constitution, generally sovereign provides the rights to the people. Hence the sovereign will legally permit the rights to the individuals. Here sovereign not only provide the rights to the people but also provides the protection to them and protection to the rights of the individuals through courts of law. Sovereign not only provides the rights to the people but also provides the protection to their rights also through courts of law. So these are some of important features of John Austin. But his features are criticized by so many political philosophers. So that is criticism of John Austin theory. Criticism on John Austin theory. So many political philosophers like Henry Maine, H.J. Lasky, G.D.H. Cole, Maitland, Civics, etc. Like these writers criticized the features of John Austin. This theory has been criticized by so many political philosophers like Henry Maine, H.J. Lasky, G.D.H. Cole, Maitland, Sidgwick, Lindsay, etc. They criticized so many points of John Austin theory. So, what are their views? What are their views? Number one is determinate human superior. Determinate human superior. Human superior is unhistorical. Unhistorical. So here, Sir Henry Maine criticized that the determined human superior of John Austin theory is unhistorical. He criticized that this type of human superior is nowhere in the history. There is no evidence of determined human superior in the history. There is no evidence in the history about the determined human superior. That is the first critic point. Second one is John Austin did not give importance to the democracy. Did not give importance to the democracy and public opinion. And while explaining his theory, he ignored the democracy and public opinion. Hence, the critics said that John Austin did not give importance to democracy and public opinion. So it opposes the what democratic spirit and public opinion because in every democracy the importance will be given to the public opinion, whereas John Austin has given importance to the absolute sovereignty of the state. There is no scope for absolute sovereignty in a democracy. Hence, critics said that it is against the democratic spirit and public opinion. It is the second critic point. And third one is critics said that it is not divisible. It is not indivisible. Not indivisible. Now, John Austin said that sovereignty is the indivisible. Sovereignty cannot be divided into two or more parts. But critics said that sovereignty must be divided. How? Example, federal state is there. In federal state, the total powers are divided between the central government and state governments. According to these writers, they are called as pluralists. According to the pluralists, in federal state there are two sovereignties. One is of central government, another one is of state government. Hence, critics said that the state must divide the division of functions, the division of powers on federal principle. Which principle? On the basis of federal principle. And one more thing, according to the pluralists, state is one of the association in the society. In the society, so many associations are there. Now, state is one of them. And so, state alone does not have the sovereign power. Along with the state, the remaining associations must have the sovereign power. sovereign power. It is another critic point. One more criticism. Fourth one. Law is not a command of sovereign. Command of a sovereign. John Austin said that what? Law is the command of sovereign. Law is the command of sovereign. Law is the command of sovereign. So what is meant by law according to John Austin? Whatever the command is issued by the sovereign to the people directly or indirectly is called as a law. Here, what is the source of law? Sovereign is the source of law according to John Austin. But critics said that not only sovereign but also some other factors also sources of law. What are the other sources? Customs and traditions. Customs and traditions. Religion. Then equity, not equality, equity. Then constitutional provisions. Constitutional provisions. Like this, factors also sources of law. Sources of law. So the critics said that the lawmakers must take into account like these factors while preparing the laws. They said that what? Lawmakers must. Lawmakers. What is a lawmaker in the democracy? Legislature. Legislature. So the legislature must take into account customs and traditions, religion, equity, constitutional provisions while preparing the laws. So here not only the sovereign but also all these factors also sources of law. Sources of law. It is another thing. And fifth one is John Austin ignored the customs and traditions. Customs and ignored the customs and traditions. Customs and traditions. Just I said what John Austin did not take into account the customs and traditions while he explained this theory. Completely he ignored the customs and traditions. Okay, according to critics, customs and traditions must be taken into account while preparing the laws. And one more thing is, state is not supreme. State is not supreme. Now John Austin said that state is the supreme one. Yes, because it has a sovereign power. It has sovereign power. But critics said that state is one of the many associations in the society. In society, different associations are there. Hence, they said that state is also equal with other associations, or other associations also equal with state. Hence, the powers must be divided among the other associations. So, only the state does not have the supreme power over all associations in the society. All associations in the society. It is one more critic point. And one more thing is, sovereignty is not located. Seventh one is, sovereignty is not located in modern democracy. In modern democracy. So here, in modern democracy, there is no scope for absolute sovereignty. There is no scope for unlimited sovereignty, according to critics. Okay? According to John Austin, According to John Austin, sovereignty is absolute and unlimited. But critics said that there is no scope for such type of absolute unlimited sovereignty in the modern democracy. According to them, certain factors will limit the sovereignty of the state. So which factors will limit the sovereignty of the state? So internally customs and traditions, and externally international laws obligations, international laws and obligations, international laws and obligations, international agreements also. So internally customs and traditions, externally international laws, obligations, agreements will act as a limitations on the sovereignty of the state. So these are some of important critic points, okay, which were given by the pluralists. Okay, even though this theory was criticized by the pluralists, this theory occupied a significant place in the political science, because this theory became the basis for establishment of nation states. Okay, on what reason this theory occupied the important place in the political science? So this theory is the basis for establishment of nation states. One. Second, this theory strengthened the role of modern states. Hence, due to these two important reasons, Austin theory occupied the important place or significant place in political science. Okay, dear students, so with this topic, so this is the one more important topic in the second unit. Okay, we will see in the next session. Goodbye.